Wait no longer. Greatness has arrived. Welcome to the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players. I am your host, Joseph, aka Mr. Badbit, and it is here where me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest, the greatest in all things PlayStation. Of course, you can listen to this show wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube at the Trophy Room Show. And if you like what you hear, please consider dropping us a 5-star review on iTunes, or if you really, really like us, you could drop us a buck our way over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. So with all that said, with all that out of the way, before we introduce the greatest co-host, whoever is, whoever will be, just a little brief bit of housekeeping. We have 2 more shows until the year is done. Now, again, we usually record on Wednesday. The show's out on Thursdays for everybody to listen to. But this year, Thursdays fall on holidays. So we got, I believe, Christmas and New Year's that those days fall under. So what we're going to do is actually push the podcast forward for the next 2 weeks. We will be on Tuesdays for the 22nd of December and the 29th. And just to make sure y'all are aware, we are doing our Game of the Year show on the 22nd. And you can actually make your voice heard. So make sure, link down below, you vote on what games defined your 2020. Let's celebrate the games and the developers that got us through this year. So with all that said, with all that out of the way, the greatest co-host, whoever is, whoever will be, Mr. Kyle Stevenson, how are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. Yeah. I'm preparing for snow finally.
Yeah.
We haven't had snow here where I live on the island in a year plus. Like maybe a dusting last year, but like nothing. I was very disappointed. And now we're going to hopefully get a lot, because I miss it.
Yeah, around here, we're rumored to be getting, it's like the snowstorm of the century. We're about to get like a foot of snow. And, yeah, thank you, by the way, because this morning you're like, hey, can we record in the afternoon? Because it's going to snow at night, and I might lose internet connection. So I rushed together the notes, and we got a lot to talk about, Kyle. We are going to be giving our impressions of Cyberpunk 2077. The good, the bad, and the frustrating bugs. We're going to be talking about CD Projekt Red and the fallout from the very controversial launch of Cyberpunk 2077. We're going to be discussing how Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo are partnering up to make the online space better for gamers. We're going to be talking about how the UK is planning to crack down on PS5 Scalpers, and guess what? It's the 1-month anniversary of the PlayStation 5. So Kyle and I are going to be giving our review of the PlayStation 5 at launch. So with all that said, let's ease on into this show with the segment we always like to call What You Been Playing. Kyle, Fall Guys Season 3. How you thinking it?
Yeah. Loving it. It is the best season so far. It's way better than Season 2 with the medieval stuff. We played extensively the new levels last night because there's a mode where you can just play the new stuff. A reiteration, a reinvention of Slime Climb, which is a lot of fun.
Nice.
Except there is no slime that eliminates you. It's just like a race to the top.
Okay.
So it is super quick and fun. There's a lot of different ways to go, which is nice. Very chaotic, which is what I love about Fall Guys and those big kind of racing maps. You have a variation of Hoopsie Daisy, where you have to like jump through rings to get a certain score in order to proceed. But you're going down an icy ski slope, and you have to jump through the rings on your way down, which is super fun. All these are also on ice, so you are slipping and sliding all over the place. There's another race to the top one, which is okay. They implemented springs, so if you jump on a spring, it will pop you off the map. Fans that will lift you up and push you along. Punching bags that will just punch you into no man's land.
That's awesome.
There's a variation on, I think it's called Roll With It, one where the team rolls the ball to the goal at the end. But this time it is a snowball, and you have to roll it into snow to get to 100% the biggest
I was
snowball.
about to say, is it about like just making an avalanche size?
Making the biggest snowball you can. That one is okay. You have to have a really good team. That is my least favorite one of this new one, just because it's so frustrating when your teammates leave you and it's really hard to control.
So how are you liking the season overall, though?
It's great.
Yeah.
And the battle pass is great. There's good stuff, good costumes like elves and Krampus and Yeti.
And it's all free, right?
There's
Because
really
there's
fun
no
things.
like the battle pass is completely free.
Correct.
Awesome.
There are premium costumes and whatnot you can buy if you want to,
Yeah.
which do look cool. But there's enough there to incentivize you to keep playing, as well as in the battle pass, there's more crowns you win. So there are, if you just keep playing and you don't win crowns, but you do level up consistently, you'll have enough crowns to get the legendary stuff, which
nice.
is really, really awesome. Like, I think later down the line, you win five crowns twice as part of the battle pass thing. And the last thing that they updated, which I'm so thankful for, so now I don't have to keep guessing, is they made a crown counter, like a stats, how many crowns you've earned.
Ooh.
And even in that, when you level up, you will get exclusive items as well, or like gold versions of costumes you already own.
Okay.
So I'm currently, after last night, I'm sitting at 90 crowns.
Look at you.
Look at me.
You. Do you recommend
But it's
people
awesome.
jumping back in before we get to the whole Cyberpunk?
Absolutely.
All right, awesome.
Absolutely. Fall Guys has never been better. It's a whole lot.
And listen, we'll count this as the whole what you've been playing portion because Cyberpunk deserves a whole big chunk of this show. So before we talk about our thoughts about Cyberpunk, let's get right into the Patreon pitch. Of course, I want to thank everybody who has become a patron over the past year. It's been fan-freaking-tastic as we're getting closer and closer to the new year. It's so humbling. I'm so thankful to see new people join us each and every week. And it's kind of what I've been saying for each and every episode, which is if we ever gotten you through a long day, a long car ride home, whatever the case may be, it really does mean a lot to us. If you head on over to patreon.com/PS Trophy Room, throw a buck or two our way. It really does help keep the lights on, makes it sound all nice, makes us look all good. So thank you all so much. I want to thank our newest members, Metal Kirby 27 at our silver tier, Old Lonesome P, and Rich. I want to thank our platinum member, Todd Burwitz, our gold members, Chaotic Monkey, Gavin Goffrey, Griffin West, Erica Scherer, Jose Jimenez, Too Soon, and Jedi Master Ren as our new gold member. I want to thank our silver and silver plus members, Hide Indoors, Marcus O'Neill, Ray Martinez, JB Purple Monkey, Jadis Vaughn Metal, and Tim Ulf. Thank you all so much for being so generous. And that said, Kyle, this was leading up to the launch of Cyberpunk 2077. It's been a journey, right? This was supposed to be the game that really just closed the chapter on this generation. You know, this was the game that was supposed to define this generation. The week before this game came out, we've had some toxic behavior on the internet about reviews, whether they were being scored too low, whether people actually quote unquote played the game. Nonsense stuff. The game is out. A lot of people have some thoughts because this is not the CD Projekt Red that a lot of people have grown fond over. You told me before this show that this was a Watch Dogs situation for you.
Yeah.
So before I give my thoughts, I want you to have one last rant here. Cyberpunk 2077. What are your, in a Twitter post, thoughts on this game?
So the reason I say this is a Watch Dogs situation is when we first saw Watch Dogs and that first trailer of it being truly next gen and being blown away by the cityscape and how interactive Aiden was with everyone he walked around near and hacking everything and it actually making sense and being a cool thing to do. And then when you play the game, it's nothing like that.
Yeah.
It's like false advertising. So Cyberpunk to me is pretty damn close to that. It is, the aesthetic is super cool. I am very let down, like to the point of where I might delete it off my PlayStation and just wait for the PS5 version because I picked Nomad, and the sole reason I picked Nomad was so I could live in this world as a nomad for a while and then experience Night City for the first time down the line.
Yeah.
And you know what happens, Joe, in the Nomad storyline? After 15 minutes, I get the same fucking cutscene you did as a street kid.
Wow.
Of me and Jackie going through the same fucking jobs, dancing in a club in Night City, and then I wake up and I'm in the city. So what is the point of me picking a different branch to be different and being on the outskirts?
Yeah.
To only end up in the same freaking situation as you did on a different life path. Why is that even a choice?
And Catalyst 313 writes in, being someone who never really cared about this game from the beginning, Lord protect me from the internet. Hey, I feel you. I never knew what this game was about. Could you explain what this game is and why it had so much hype? And Kyle, how are those handcuffs treating you? Winky face.
I don't know what that means. Am I in trouble?
I think maybe even sexually. It's hot.
If I said something on last week's episode, I'm sorry.
Or don't be. I don't know. Who knows where this is going to lead? For me, what this game was about is essentially you are like a futuristic thug trying to make your name on the streets of Night City. And pretty much things happen to you where you need to solve this overarching mystery, and people want something very important from you. And so that's pretty much what the game is. It's really, to me, walking into this game, why people were so hyped about it was when we saw that alpha demo last year, they gave us a lot of hype. Like, for example, we saw the crowds, and I remember talking about this on the trophy room, those crowds seemed like an actual city. Like, people, bustling through. And they said something around the lines of each person has their own day to night cycle. You can follow that person from A to B, C, D, all the way to Z. And they're their own, like, person, quote unquote. I was like, whoa, that's pretty crazy. No quest, quote unquote, has a failure state. The world will just adapt. And I haven't gotten to any of that yet. So I'm kind of with you here as well. Besides the bugs of this game, there are just, I do feel lied to. I'm just gonna straight up say, I think you're right. In certain degrees, we saw a whole lot of gameplay and a whole lot of like, and even if people want to say, well, that was PC gameplay, like we saw gameplay before this game released on PS4, quote unquote, on Xbox One, quote unquote, advertised on their YouTube, on their social medias that never actually fucking came to be. That's not what we actually played. And for me, I know there's a great game in here, Kyle. I know there's something really special here. I am 8 hours in and I have uninstalled it on my hard drive. The reason as to why is because I have a laundry list of bugs that I've run into. So, for example, I've had AI just stand in place and let me shoot them, not even shoot me back. I've had AI straight up disappear. I've had AI run into walls. I've had AI merge into walls. I've had invisible AI not shooting at me, but yelling at me in the room. Like, I think they're actually dead, but they're still having their lines out.
Oh.
I've had multiple crashes, multiple corrupt saves. I had a lot of glitches in the car. So some cars when I'm on the road would just straight up disappear. I actually shared one on social media. My car would disappear as I'm driving it. I turn on the radio and it would almost simulate like the game's about to crash. Like it's a stutter for 6 to 7 seconds. There's a part where I get to the brain dance sequence, which is actually a really cool freaking sequence where, it's interloop gameplay with cutscenes. Now I'm in this virtual strip club. It's kind of cool. And when the cutscene happens, it'll actually just zone me back out to my car, which is outside the building. And even when that section's over, I actually had to restart the game because my camera was locked in on my car, but I saw my character was moving on the minimap. And so when I finally break out of the prologue, where I'm with Keanu, the game crashes again. And I see a whole bunch of there's small things, but like people T-posing, people just hovering in the air, people without legs just hovering in the air. I've seen things floating in the environment. And, I think, Dan from Season Gaming said it great. It's like, this game is all about immersing you, and it's the little things that take you out of it. It's like the scene in Titanic where everybody's running and the guys with the violins are playing to their doom. Mm-hmm. It's like, he's like, imagine like those guys are playing, but their dicks are out.
No, that's a great point. Cause I made it to the point where you go to your apartment for the first time in Night City. Yeah. And I'm walking around. I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool. I'm digging this." I grab whatever clothes are in the closet and switch things out. I put on a hat because I like putting hats on my characters, whatever. Then I go over to the sink, right? I go over to the sink and I want to see myself in the mirror. And first of all, it looks like dog shit.
It does. It's very bad.
I don't know what's up with that mirror, but it's real bad. And it looks very grainy. Yep. But I turn it on, and not only, Joe, is my hair gone. My blue hair on my V is completely gone. I'm bald. Yeah. The hat isn't there, but all my clothes are gone. I am now naked in my mirror.
Yep.
In this game.
Yep.
For no reason. Talking about breaking immersion, like I just went through putting on clothes that I thought would look cool and then look in the mirror to see how I look. Mm-hmm. And then everything is just gone. How?
Yeah, and the thing is, the thing that sucks here, I've had an Assassin's Creed Unity issue where I'm in the car.
The eyes and the teeth.
Yeah, and I'm in the car and Jackie's talking to me, and I just I turn around for a second, I turn back, and Jackie's looking at me, and it's floating eyes, floating teeth, no face.
Can we really quickly talk about the Jackie driving the car sequences?
Yeah, he's not.
And how
bad.
Rudimentary that is. It's literally you're sitting in the seat next to Jackie, and Jackie's like this on the steering wheel, and just moving it just a little bit, and you're skating on ice. Yeah. It doesn't feel like you're driving at all.
And the driving in this game is awful. It's like I'm on an ice rink constantly.
I don't understand how this happened.
I don't understand either.
This was announced 8 years ago.
I don't understand either. And the thing is, the combat's all right. It's nothing to write home about. The one critique I have is I feel like after I'm done with a firefight, I'm constantly looking at all the guns to see the little incremental improvements and then taking those and dropping mine.
Oh, you mean zooming in or getting up out of your chair and staring at the TV because the text is so fucking small?
There's a lot wrong with this game,
I see little tiny icons to pick things up, and I go over to pick them up, and I can't read what they fucking do.
Yeah.
And this is on my TV. This isn't on a monitor or whatever. And I have normal eyesight. What does that do for people that don't have normal eyesight? Right. That's it's unplayable in that case because you can't read anything.
And the UI as well. Everything's just so small. I want to really love this game because I do feel like the world itself and the story they're telling is something really special. And I know I'm totally, probably maybe one of the only ones, I really love the voice acting in this game. I like Jackie's voice acting. I know that's very, I know a lot of Latinx folks that are not happy with this. As a Hispanic, I have no qualms with the way Jackie's voice actor handled that character. So I everybody's selling their role really well. V's voice actress, I'm playing female version. She's totally fucking killing it. I believe everyone, really except for Keanu Reeves, in this game so far. And I'll give Keanu Reeves the benefit of the doubt because I have not played much with him. Mm-hmm. But really, everyone has done a great job. And it's a game that I really do want to get back into because this does seem like this is CD Projekt Red's version of Fallout. In terms of how the combat feels, how the RPG mechanics feel. So you can kind of take that as you will. You're not going to get smooth Titanfall-esque shooting. You're going to get that Fallout vibe, but it's a really awesome world that I can't.
Yeah.
I don't understand what happened here and what went wrong.
Yeah. There's so many little things that when I think I'm in it and I want to see what's next, it breaks it for me.
And the thing is, Kyle,
simple things another example of things that it irritates me is the fact that you have a choice of what to say to a character, right? And you would pick the non-forcing to move the story option, right? And my V would say something oh, what are you doing around here? Blah 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 blah. And then when you pick the canonical choice, it acts like the line you just said didn't happen. And it will either rephrase what you already said or contradict what you said in the other line of dialogue. Sometimes it just doesn't match up and it doesn't flow at all. No. It's weird.
It is. This game, and I think you're right. I'm playing on a PlayStation 5. I don't know how people are. I mean, I know people can't do it on a PS4. And that's what we're going to talk about next. But yeah, like, I really cannot recommend this game at all. Even on my PlayStation 5, I got these crashes. Not to say, like, the game looked alright, because this is running through their backwards compatibility. This is not a next-gen game by all means. But I did get some type of 4K. I did get some type of 60 FPS on this game. It's just the crashing and the insistent bugs from everything just kept me out of this game, to the point where, like, I'm so jealous that PC folks and some, I believe some Series X folks, I know Xbox fans are kind of split.
And Stadia
is running it great.
Good God,
it
they
really
gotta
is
win.
2020. Are you kidding me?
They gotta win.
Yeah. But like, you know, I know like even some Xbox folks are like split on whether this is playable on their Series X or not. So like, it's definitely a wait. A lot of people are demanding their refunds. And a lot of people are disappointed in CD, and I completely understand. So with that, Kyle, it is time to square up the news. We're going to square up the fallout of CD Projekt Red.
This comes from Emma Kent over at Eurogamer. CD Projekt apologizes for not showing Cyberpunk 2077 on PS4 and Xbox One before launch, now offering refunds. Cyberpunk 2077 released last Thursday with a bumpy launch. After a critic discovered some scenes could trigger epileptic seizures, we finally got our first look at the console version running on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. And the results were, well, not great. In response to criticism of the game's performance on last-gen consoles, CD Projekt Red has now issued a statement apologizing for not showing Cyberpunk 2077 running on Xbox One and PS4, and has announced that players could ask for a refund of the game if they're unhappy. And here comes CD's full quote that they put on
Real
Twitter.
talk. This is their full quote. It's 3 paragraphs. I want to stop at when each paragraph ends.
Sure.
Because there's a lot of bullshit in this PR statement that we have to address.
Dear gamers, first of all, what? Me? I'm a gamer. Reluctantly. First of all, we would like to start by apologizing to you for not showing the game on base last-gen consoles before it premiered and, in consequence, not allowing you to make a more informed decision about your purchase. We should have paid more attention to making it play better on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Whoa.
Fuck off with that last sentence.
Whoa.
We should have paid more attention to making it play better. Come on.
No, Kyle, let's not start at the last sentence. Let's start at sentence numero fucking uno. We want to start by apologizing to you for not showing the game on base last-gen consoles before it premiered. So last week, for those of you who don't know, when people reviewed it the first time, it was on the PC version, which still had bugs, but not as many. Like, this is the best version to play is the PC version. So people gave it their ratings, right? And relatively high. People did not get the console codes until the day before the launch. And at the same exact time, for PC folks, for those PC reviews, guess what? They couldn't show their actual gameplay. They had to show CD Projekt Red's version, their B-roll, their marketing for this game. Not their actual, not the reviewer's actual gameplay. So apologizing for what? You literally there's no reason. There's no reason for this. And again, you did show us the last gen versions of this game weeks before, and it is nowhere near the finished product that we actually got. And I implore everybody to take a look at, if you didn't know or haven't seen or what have you, the PS4 and Xbox One versions of these games look like a straight up high end to low end PS3 game. Like, I'm not a stickler for frame rates. This shit is like, I'm noticing it. You know, it is. Yeah. You pull the pistol of a trigger, you're down to 12 FPS in some parts. It looks like I'm staring at a picture frame, not a moving picture. You know. Mm-hmm. So no, you apologize. For what? And yes,
I'm with you on that one, and going into this last sentence too. If you say you should have paid more attention to making it play on PS4 and Xbox One. Yeah. If you were like blatantly disregarding that, just cancel those and make it next gen only.
And that's the thing as well. It like my thing is like, what do you mean pay more attention to the PS4 and Xbox One? First and foremost,
that's the only thing that was announced for the longest time. What are you talking about?
You announced this game in 2012. What were you coding this game for? Just PC at the time? Like, you made The Witcher 3 in 2015. So, like, I don't get that logic, CD. And even then, like, these consoles, like PlayStation 4 alone, over 120 million consoles out there. Prospective, almost like customers out there that you could get. And so why wouldn't you want to pay attention to that? You obviously knew because this game, right when it came out, they're like, we have over 8 million pre-orders of this game, and we already paid our dev costs from this game. So it really seems like you knew what you had. You really wanted to wait or sit on this game as long as you can, but investors forced you to put this game out at the end of 2020 to meet a deadline, to meet a financial goal. And you hid it from people, because if people actually saw what this game looked like, those pre-orders would drastically go down.
Also, because I'm scrolling through, I don't think it's here, which is not a big deal, but like the whole, we're going to not tie bonuses to Metacritic score and just give everyone a bonus. So that right there tells me that's why only PC reviews went out. That was why they could only review it on PC at the time, so they could hit their 90 on Metacritic.
We'll talk about we'll talk about that. So, second paragraph.
Second, we will fix bugs and crashes and improve the overall experience. The first round of updates has just been released, and the next one is coming within the next 7 days. Expect more, as we will update frequently whenever new improvements are ready. After the holidays, we'll continue working. We'll release 2 large patches, starting with patch number 1 in January. This will be followed by patch number 2 in February. Together, these should fix the most prominent problems gamers are facing on last-gen consoles. We will be informing you about the contents of each patch ahead of their release. They won't make the game on last-gen look like it's running on a high-spec PC or next-gen console, but it will be closer to that experience than it is now.
So you're telling me, with this game, you didn't know it was that bad, but you already have, first of all, technically 4 updates already slated for this thing, right? You had that big day 1 patch, then you had a day 2 patch. Now you have another patch coming in less than a week. Now you have a patch coming in January, and you have one slated for February. So you have a whole slate of updates that you know, quote unquote, you can hit this deadline for, but you didn't know this game was going to be bad. Bullshit. Also, how can I take your word for it when you've delayed this game countless times that these updates are actually coming out in January and February? Mm-hmm. How do we know that that's actually going to fix everything? What it screams to me is this game was obviously not ready. This is an alpha version of this game. And again, you put it out there to appease investors, and you were riding on good faith from both the industry and gamers alike to get this game out there in the state that it's in.
It's fucking shady.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Ooh.
God, it's oh man.
Third paragraph.
Finally, we would always like everyone who buys our games to be satisfied with their purchase. We would appreciate it if you would give us a chance. But if you are not pleased with the game on your console and don't want to wait for updates, you can opt to refund your copy. For copies purchased digitally, please use the refund system of PSN or Xbox respectively. For box versions, please first try to get a refund at the store where you bought the game. Should this not be possible, please contact us at helpmerefund@cdprojectred.com, and we will do our best to help you. Starting from today, you can contact us for a week up until December 21st, 2020.
I'd like to give us a chance. I gave you $60 worth of a chance. What does that mean?
We were optimistic all year when it got delayed to May.
Yeah.
And then it got delayed to September.
Yeah.
And then it got delayed to November.
Yeah.
Then it got delayed to December. We've been giving you chances all fucking year. And if you knew that it wasn't ready, delay it a full fucking year then.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, this is doing you more harm than it could ever do you more good.
Yeah. And also, it makes me think of, like, who was the suit in the room? What were they smoking when they thought, oh, let's do it April 20th? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, who thought that? I want to know.
Could you imagine that build?
Yeah.
Could you
There's
imagine
stick
after
figures
what
on
we've
the
been playing?
screen.
Oh,
You'd be
my
lucky.
God.
So, yeah, that is unfortunate. And then when it comes to the refund system, where they're like, and if you don't want it, you could try to, if you purchase digitally, refund it through PSN, Xbox, respectively.
Knowing full well that doesn't work.
Dude.
At least on PlayStation side of things.
Here's the thing.
You know it doesn't work.
Xbox is a bit better. They give you 2
Yes.
hours. And, if you don't like it, you can return it. Now, there have been, from what I've learned, exceptions to that rule. So it's not really, the grass is greener, but by how much, we got to put an asterisk on that grass. So for me, we know how the PlayStation refund system works. You know PlayStation ain't going to do shit. But here's where it gets even shadier. On a conference call with investors, CD Projekt Red CEO said that they skipped this game, PlayStation and Xbox respectively, let them skip certification for this game.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. They played very fast and loose. I'll try to get the quote. But yeah.
Oh.
And so like this is a scar on both PlayStation and Xbox. How do they let this game go through? Because they had good faith with CD. This is going to damage their relationship, not just gamers, but with the companies that make deals with them. Like, think about it for a second. You're Phil Spencer. You paid buku cash to get Cyberpunk on the, or that advertising deal. You fucking painted Xboxes with Cyberpunk stuff.
Yeah.
How do you feel right now? We're in the green room right now. You're Phil Spencer. How the fuck do you feel?
Not great at all. Fucking pissed off, to be frank. I'd be so fucking mad to shell out millions of dollars for the rights to be like the best place to play is here. No, and then seeing the end product. God, I'd be so mad.
Yeah.
I usually don't return plates to the kitchen when they get it wrong, but I would march myself into the kitchen and shove it in the chef's face.
Yeah. Yeah.
If that was the case. Like, whew, man.
It's ridiculous. And
even for like the box versions. You're like, we both worked at GameStop.
That ain't happening.
We know once it's open, you're not getting a refund, man.
Yeah, you might have a cool
happening.
relationship with your store manager, and they might give you store credit. But let me tell you something. That ain't happening.
It ain't happening. It's like a new car when you drive it off the lot.
Exactly.
It's done.
So they're like, contact us at help me refund at CD Projekt Red. More like not gonna fucking happen at CD Projekt Red.
Yeah.
Like it's wow. So Nagachaka writes in, my hype for CD Projekt for Cyberpunk 2077 was unreal. Same here. The Witcher 3 is definitely in my top 10 best PS4 games of all time. I played Cyberpunk 2077 on my PlayStation 4. Oh, woof. For a few hours, and the textures take forever to load, and the frame rate drops hard. But more importantly, I can't get over CD Projekt Red's anti-consumer practices with this game's launch, and I don't even want to play the game anymore. What can CD Projekt Red do to fix things? Is it even possible at this point? This experience has seriously burned me, and unless it's a collector's edition, I don't think I'll be pre-ordering the game ever again. Like Michael Scott said, fool me once, strike one. Fool me twice, strike three. Here's the thing. I don't know. Like, there's no way we're getting refunds. And I actually kind of think there's going to be a class action lawsuit.
Ooh, you think it's going that far?
Because I think for the first time ever, when gamers say this is anti-consumer, it's actually fucking
They're right on this one.
anti-consumer.
They're right on this one.
Yeah. You know, look, I think this has highlighted a few things that I'd love to talk to y'all about. First and foremost, PlayStation needs to rephrase this return policy on digital products as we're moving closer and closer to that digital future. You know, the digital future is here for a lot of folks. Mm-hmm. Your competition has a better return policy. PCs have better return policies. We're not asking, hey, I played this game for 60 hours. I don't like it. Give us an hour. Give us 2 hours.
It's gotta scale, I think, with the size of the game.
Yes.
So, like, if it's a shorter game, you have maybe an hour before you ask for a refund. If it's like a 15 to 20 hour game, you got 2 hours. If it's 20 plus, you give 3 hours of playtime or something
Sure.
like that, so that you really are in there for a decent amount of time before it's got to scale with the length or the size of the game. Like you're not going to buy an arcade game and play it for 6 hours and request a refund.
I would
That
say, you
doesn't
know what you
just
do,
fucking
and
work.
I think here, guys, we have entered into the shoes of Shuhei Yoshida. That's right. It's now If I Was Shu. We brought this skit back up from the dead. We are now Shuhei Yoshida. We are fixing PlayStation's broken ass return policy. So let's start with this. I think time is correct. I think time is relative here, where depending on the size and if it's an indie game, and I think I would also tie that with the trophies. Like if you got 10% of trophies, after 11 you're cut off. You can't do it, right? Because after 10, I think you should know. I think you should know what things you're looking at, and I don't want people to just zoom past everything, get a platinum, return it. So I want a number that sounds shitty so that it doesn't even entice people to do that. Mm-hmm. So I think 10% is fair. I think scaling it, but then like how do you know how much playtime? So I would even say play for the case of indies versus larger titles. I think if you're PlayStation, I don't think we have the adequate system in place to actually calculate that. So I think I would do just the trophy limit and 2 hours. And then if you got over 10, sorry, that's yours, or 10 or 15. And if you played over 2, but besides that, if you played under 2 hours, if you have less than 50% trophies, bam, you get your refund. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think that's fair too. Being more flexible with that is always a good idea.
Yeah. And I mean, how does CD fix things? Give me a fucking refund. Marcus O'Neill writes, and sorry, I think she's his mom. I
also think any given try to make it better olive branch, the only thing they could have possibly done is you can get the next gen version for free, but that's already the case.
Yeah.
So there is no extra thing that they could possibly do for people that bought the game than to be offer all future DLC for free? I don't know. Even then, I'll be 50 fucking years old by the time that comes out and ready to be played. So I don't know.
Yeah. Marcus O'Neill writes up, chalk me up as another person who's incredibly disappointed and even angry about this whole Cyberpunk 2077 mess. However, there's a part of me that finds it all pretty fascinating too. It's hard to see right now, since we're only a week away from release of this game, but I wonder if releasing a game in its current state wasn't the best move from CD Projekt Red. I know, but hear me out. 1. The whole gamers have short memories. The Witcher 3 had major issues when it released, and look how fondly it's thought of today. And sure, CDPR needs to do some type of damage control right now, but if Cyberpunk is fixed in the next few months with these launch issues, doesn't matter long term. 2. First major delay for Cyberpunk was in April, caused a huge drop in their stock price, much greater than they've experienced in these past few weeks. A further delay would have likely caused their stock to plummet even further. 3. Gamers are notorious for their outrage over developer and publisher business practices. Well, that's new. Often justifiably so. However, this seems to translate very little to actual sales. I can think of plenty of examples of people being upset at developers for one thing or another, crunch, microtransactions, etc. Then these games end up winning major awards and selling millions upon millions of copies. Make no mistake, CDPR made a business decision here. Don't get me wrong, I think it's a shitty one for customers. I'm not sure it was a bad one, though, for CDPR. What do you guys think? And that's a fucking awesome question from Marcus. Because you're right, Witcher did not launch great. It had problems. But what I would like to argue against, or argue back with, is I don't think they had this type of situation on their hands. And I think what makes this situation different is when Witcher 3 came out, yes, there was a lot of hype for it, but that was the game that really put CD on the mark, right? They showed us what a game is, one of the best open world games ever, one of the best RPGs ever. And then they up the ante with some incredible DLC alongside it, where it was during a time where everybody was giving us these shitty, season passes, shitty microtransactions, all that. CD was giving consumers what they actually wanted, meaty content afterwards. And that's kind of put them on the map. And that's what put all eyes on them in terms of Cyberpunk, where it's like, okay, so you're a bigger team now, bigger company, you're worth more than Ubisoft. You obviously got this, and they obviously didn't. So I don't know if it's... Marcus, I think you're half right. I don't think it's the worst decision for CDPR, because I think their stocks are going to come back up, but it's long-term effect. And I think we won't know until the end of next year. If the reason why the stocks dropped the way they were is they are worried that the word of mouth about this game is so bad that it hurts sales long-term. Because think of it with The Witcher 3. It came out in 2015, but they got the most sales it ever got was last year, due part to the show, but that people got a very well polished experience from them. Yeah. That's what they were expecting here, didn't get. Mm-hmm. So do you think this is a bad one, or do you think we do have, short-term memory here?
I think the short-term memory thing only goes with certain properties and developers. Okay. Like, CD Projekt, there were bugs at the beginning and then just completely glossed over after the fact. But then when you take, and again, don't yell at me in the comments. I know these games are not clearly on the same level. Uh-huh. But a game I love very much that was also buggy at the start and got fixed relatively quickly
Fallout 76
is Days Gone. Right? Yeah. Fuck off, 76. Days Gone is I feel, a fantastic game. It is a really solid PlayStation game after all the fixes. Right. When people look back at Days Gone, and it's been 2 years now for Days Gone, I believe. Yep. 2018? Yep. That was a 2018
No,
game?
wait. No, I think it's 2019.
No, that was a last year game.
That was a last year game.
So... You look, wow, man, time is slowing down. When people look back at Days Gone, all they think about are the bugs that they encountered, even though they fixed them. And that hasn't turned over to be like, okay, Days Gone is a pretty serviceable and great game now. But they still think about that. But when they think of like The Witcher 3, it's just like, oh, it's the greatest game ever made.
Yeah.
And forgetting all the times where it wasn't really that great.
I mean, we saw it with No Man's Sky, and I'll get to the next question after this. When we talk about like No Man's Sky,
that's a better example.
Look at this year, right? Like Sean Murray was drinking a Corona because on stage at the awards because he thought it was going to go to Destiny, and he got it. And that game when it came out was a pile of human dung, right? So like. Why didn't I say dung? Anyway, but like it is what it is. I think they can come back from this. But like I'm just salty and my heart hurts right now. I'm not putting this on Game of the Year next year. Like no. I don't see how this game comes back from this. I don't even see real talk. I don't even see this next gen version coming out anytime soon.
That was what I was just going to ask you. Like with all these patches fixing the PS4 and Xbox One version and PC to a certain extent, when are we getting the actual official PS5 and Series X version?
You're lucky.
2022?
No. I think you're lucky. I think it'll come out sometime next year, but you'd be lucky if it's summer.
A year from today, from when it released, maybe?
Maybe, yeah. I'm kind of thinking holidays. Because if it's this many patches, and it really does take up till February, and you're working from home, just take a look at Avengers, right? It had to fix all their bugs, had to fix all their bullshit.
That's true.
We're going on, 5 months in January, and they still don't have a date for, when the PS5 version of that game's coming out. Yeah.
That's fair.
I think 7 to 8 months is when you're probably going to see it, if you're lucky. Awesome Dave writes in, I haven't played the game yet, but Please don't. Following the drama surrounding the release, my question is, would this release been as short of masterclass in what not to do? Yes. The review restrictions that were imposed, the delays and lack of delay, the insane hype train, what will stand out to most other developers as a lesson to be learned about all this? Release a game that works. I think the one thing that actually angers me, it's probably the irrational side, is what the fuck we're up with those Night City wires. I mean, look, it worked for the pre-orders, obviously worked for sales, you got it. But like, dude, those people need to be working on their game. You took them away to put them in flashing lights and talk about how you got Keanu Reeves to drive a car. Like, you don't fucking need this. You didn't need this. You know? That's the thing that, don't give us hype reels, and really, if anything, like a real answer to it is, we need to learn how developers, publishers, marketers need to learn how to adjust hype with reality. And it's a hard thing to do. I think most people are going to fail at it, but I think you need to adjust it so that, when things like this happen, it's maybe not as bad, but honestly, really just don't make a broken game.
That, and just like, if you know a game isn't ready, stick to your guns and tell these investors to shove it. And just wait. And to go with Awesome Dave when it comes to the drama thing, because we're about to stop talking about Cyberpunk for a little bit. The thing that made me angry the most, and this went back to last week.
Tell me.
Or last week or 2 weeks now? Whenever the internet was going after Callie. And seeing after this game was released, there was a Reddit thread.
By the way, guys, if you don't know, she's the reviewer that reviewed it out of 7, and people yelled at her because she reviewed it for a 7.
I got so volatile and rage induced when I saw there was a tweet going around of a screenshot from the Cyberpunk Reddit. It was like, I know we just gave Callie a bunch of shit over her review score, but after playing it, I think she's right. Fuck off! Are you kidding me?
Yes.
I just had to say just fuck off real loud and clear, because I just...
That
I can't.
Because
I can't.
Like, that is the internet. It like, honestly, you get these people out here that are so hostile towards, like, GameSpot, IGN, people that are doing their jobs, right? And they have this us versus them mentality because there's an ounce of jealousy behind why that person's at IGN and not me. And you get this volatile behavior that, they're all bought out by corporate, whatever interests. And, no game gets below an 8, blah, blah, blah. But the day that it does, the day that it's getting reviewed as 7, a game that you're excited for, well, that person needs to pay. That's a bad opinion. I haven't played it yet, but fuck you. And that's not how, reality works. But, like, that angers me too. I think there's ways of, like, how we need to be better as well, of, like, managing our hype and understanding, there's been watchdog situations. So let's be level-headed with our hype here. I think you're definitely right.
And big ups to IGN and Destin Legary, he reviewed the base PS4 and Xbox One version, and the tweet simply was the review score of a 4. And they put it out there like, listen, fuck all y'all, this game is broken. It is down near unplayable on base PS4 and Xbox One. It got a 4. So basically say, like, deal with it and shut up. God, that was a baller move.
It really was. Big ups to Destin. That said, last but not leastly on this topic, which we've spent almost an hour on, Kyle.
It's big.
It's a big topic. It really is all encompassing this week. So what I'll do is I will put it like, hey, skip here. Well, put time codes in the YouTube description. Nate writes in, I'm disappointed in Sony for not doing refunds on Cyberpunk. CDPR definitely didn't run it by either Sony or Microsoft when they released the statement. But based on the fact that both Microsoft and Sony let this skip certification, they should be doing refunds. I think there is a potential class action lawsuit in the works here. Would it be better for Sony just to do refunds? If the rabbit hole goes that deep, yes. And from what I've been hearing, my ear to the ground, is that yes, Sony and Microsoft let CD Projekt Red skip certification. Why? Well, because they knew this game was going to sell gangbusters as well.
Yeah.
So
that is,
and certification means if the game's functional, if it syncs up to trophies, from what I understand, that's what it means. And somehow they consider this functional. But it is what it is.
I don't know.
But yes, I think there is a class action lawsuit.
Nothing to do with Cyberpunk. Just the phrase "ear to the ground" made me chuckle, imagining us with our ears to the ground and hearing all the hubbub in the news. And that's how I got it.
It's like there's a gazelle.
What's that?
There's a gazelle north of us. It's a herd.
The ground is shaking. That means a reviewer gave a game a bad score.
Heard that? It's a twig. It broke. A gamer's outraged somewhere. Kyle, listen. Enough of this Cyberpunk stuff, okay?
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm over it. We're broken up. CD and CD, we're not on talking terms. But I want my hoodie back, CD. I want my hoodie back. Let's talk about some good news, because I think after...
Are you gonna take out that video card?
Yes.
That you won the Cyberpunk?
No, I'm not. No, I'm keeping that. But let's get to some good news. Some hope in this vile week that we've had.
Yeah. This comes from friend of the show, Adam Bankhurst over at IGN. Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo partner on commitment to safer gaming. Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo have partnered together in an effort to protect the safety of their players in our connected and socially focused world. Announced on Xbox Wire, Corporate Vice President of Xbox Operations, Dave McCarthy, discussed how he and the team believe that, quote, gaming is for all people of all ages, including our youngest and most vulnerable players, end quote. However, protecting players online is not an easy task and, quote, requires a multidisciplinary approach, end quote, that is only enhanced when working together with the likes of Nintendo and PlayStation. Quote, at Xbox, we are aligned with both Nintendo on behalf of the community of Nintendo Switch players and PlayStation in our belief that protecting players online requires a multidisciplinary approach, one that combines the benefits of advanced technology, a supportive community, and skilled human oversight, McCarthy wrote. We can accomplish more when we work toward the same goal, and so we will each continue investing in, evolving, and amplifying our approaches to user safety. As we continue this work, we will prioritize protecting the safety of our players, especially those most vulnerable, end quote. Then it goes on to prevention, meaning empower players and parents to understand and control gaming experiences. Partnership. We commit to partnering with the industry, regulators, law enforcement, and our communities to advance user safety. And responsibility. We hold ourselves accountable for making our platforms as safe as possible for all players.
So, for each one of those bullet points, there are a lot of little bullet points, but for the gist here, for the first one, right, prevention, they want to make unified controls that and this comes from the article, let players customize their gaming experience, and support parents with tools and information necessary to create appropriate gaming experiences for their kids. So the prevention part is really to help, get kids really out of the internet public eye of Xbox, PSN, and all that. The partnerships with industry regulators, law enforcement, they are trying to make it so that, again, we will work with trade organizations, industry members, regulators, law enforcement, and experts to develop and advance online safety initiatives. So they're going to be building infrastructure from the ground up, so that hopefully what this really could mean is that if someone is as vile as they are on the internet and does something crazy vile or threatens someone, that maybe you can get some type of cyber police out there. You get some type of investigator out there, because how many times I see that on the internet, it's disgusting.
Yep.
And then This is the best one. Responsibility. We make it easy for players to report violations of our code of conduct, in addition to removing content that we take appropriate enforcement actions for violation, including restricting players from using our services for misconduct. This is excellent because I think Ray Martinez, in the Discord, one of his things about crossplay is just like, yo, like when I report a player, does it actually even work? Like, if they're on Xbox, what happens there? And so to see that there's this unified front between all three major, console manufacturers going, hey, we're in this together, and we're going to make a system where we're overlapping with each other and connecting with each other so that we could prevent this type of stuff. That's awesome. That's this is one step with, as we get into crossplay, that does become the most important thing here.
Yeah, you love to see it.
You really
After
do.
everything, the last few weeks of seeing people just getting harassed over shitty ass opinions on the harasser's part, not the victim's part, is just it's exhausting. It is incredibly exhausting.
Yeah.
And I highlighted what Dave said because I want everyone to shout it from the rooftops.
Yeah.
Gaming is for all people of all ages, including our youngest and most vulnerable players. Gaming is for everybody. So stop gatekeeping, stop being a toxic fan, and just enjoy it. Or else gaming is not going to go the way we all want it to be. It being a blossoming thing, a widely accepted thing, a thing that pushes all forms of medium forward. Like, that will not happen if this toxicity continues to persist throughout. Yeah,
I think you nailed it on the head there, my man. I do think that this is, we've talked about it the past 2 episodes. I've seen some really vile stuff on Call of Duty, and I want to know if that person got reported and it's actually banned. And to see them kind of band together going, hey, we're going to work with each other here. I would like the same for social media, as well, like a unified thing for Facebook, Twitter, and all that stuff as well. Because I think the internet's become a little bit too Wild West, and there needs to be some type of regulation. And I like that we're first trying it where it's not so much governmental, but it is the industry trying to regulate itself before having to go to that route. So awesome.
Can I do a quick aside? Because you brought up Facebook, and I have a funny story.
Okay, go for it.
So I admin a couple of Facebook pages, and one of my fellow admins, he posted an image of a minion, just saying what, and Facebook flagged that for hate speech. It went against community guidelines because it was a minion saying with the caption of what.
Honestly, I'm glad he got banned because the Minion movies,
he didn't get banned, but the group got flagged over a Minion picture.
I dig it.
Like Facebook, you're drunk.
You're drunk.
What's happening?
You're drunk with power. Let's get to the next one real fast.
This comes from Ali Jones over at Games Radar. UK politicians aim to take action against PS5 and Xbox Series X scalpers. As first spotted by VGC, 10 MPs have signed an early day motion. Thank you. Early day motion aiming to tackle the use of automated bots used to buy up consoles and PC parts in bulk before selling them on at inflated prices. The motion, titled Resale of Gaming Consoles and Computer Components Purchased by Automated Bots, was sponsored this week by 6 members of parliament from the Scottish National Party and has since received support from 4 other members of parliament. It reads, quote, "This House believes that new releases of gaming consoles and computer components should be available to all customers at no more than the manufacturer's recommended retail price and not be bought in bulk by the use of automated bots which often circumvent maximum purchase quantities imposed by the retailer," end quote. The motion goes on to suggest that the UK government implement legislation similar to that used to prevent mass ticket scalping in 2018 and banning the reselling of consoles and components way above RRP. Yeah. Retail, what was that? Suggested retail price?
You know what? It's British, so
Okay. Denying, quote, unscrupulous vendors the chance to make themselves vast profits at the expense of genuine gamers and computer users, end quote. According to the UK Parliament website, early day motions are intended to draw the attention of the House to a particular issue, event, or campaign. It's possible, if somewhat unlikely, that the motion could lead to parliamentary debate on the issue, as early day motions are rarely debated in the House.
I'm also guessing on
Did
that
I
piece.
wake up in a BBC show? What is going on?
What's up? You're on Sky. What's up? What's going on? Oi, Governor, how's your tea? Actually, you know what, Lee? I first off, I apologize. Secondly, Lee, how's the game that you won from us? But also, let me know if MPS is members of Parliament, because I'm pretty sure it is.
That makes sense.
It does make a lot of sense. It was a guess, but I would feel really smart if I'm correct on it. You know, It's crazy there. Parliament, there's like a guy like with a judge, and he's got a wig on. It's crazy. It's crazy over there.
Things go down.
Dude, it really does. It's like, rub-a-dub-dub, quarters in session. What's all this then? And then they're like, here's the stuff.
Where's my fig pudding?
Yeah. I'd like some more. Anyway, sorry to all of our folks in the UK. So this is awesome, because I feel like a lot of people right now are getting aggravated at the system at hand.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, well, why can't the US get a system in place here? Let me tell you something. We got some bigger issues that we can't solve at the moment. So yeah, I kind of understand why that's not. It's awesome that we're starting to see, though, some type of enforcement on scalpers. And hopefully that this does bleed on through to the United States and other countries alike to take scalping seriously. Because there was a report that scalpers, in the month of November made over a cumulative $19 million off of scalping next-gen consoles.
Wow.
It's like, Jesus, I should have bought, 11 Xboxes and PlayStations.
I would have eliminated my
student
for the
debt.
Yeah. I should have opened up a new credit card for the sole purpose of buying extra consoles to then flip for 3 times the price.
It's like, Jesus. It's kind of like
more than what our country's going to do for us, Joe.
Yeah, exactly. Give me that $600 stimulus, buy a PlayStation, sell it for...
That will buy a Coleman branded tent and sleeping bag.
So like, there you go. There we have it. We fixed this problem. But yeah, no, something definitely needs to be fixed in terms of scalping, because it is getting absolutely insane out there. And, but I do like to see that there are more... It looks like there are way more PlayStation 5s than we thought there were going to be. Because it seems like every other day they got PlayStations up for grabs. And yes, maybe it's not a lot. Maybe there are a lot of bots scalping them. But I see more and more people getting them. So, it gives me optimistic. Kyle?
Yeah.
Hour into the show. I want you to get your hat on here. All right? Your reviewer hat on. But I swear to God, if you rate it a 7, I'm going to send you an angry letter. Sometimes, listen, the news is slow, this week. Actually, I thought it was going to be like, we'd be out of here in an hour. Not so much. Today,
we got heated with Cyberpunk.
We got very heated with Cyberpunk. But I want to kind of depressurize the room here and talk about the PlayStation 5, because we've had it for over a month now.
Crazy.
It's crazy. So with that, I feel like it's time to kind of talk about it, because I feel like the honeymoon period's over with me. I could get critical. I got some thoughts. I got some opinions. I got some things I think PlayStation got right on. I think there's some things they got wrong on. So let's kind of break this one down right off the bat. Let's start with the size of this console, the design of this console. It's time to review this bad boy. At the end of the day, I, in the beginning, thought this console was going to be too big. But Kyle, I want to know your thoughts first. How do you like the overall design of this console? From the hardware perspective.
I'm really digging it. I love the way that it looks on my entertainment center. It's been one of those things where it was first unveiled months ago, where it was kind of like, oh, that is completely different.
Yeah.
So it's taken a while to warm up beforehand, but from the moment I set it on the entertainment console next to my TV, I'm like, it just fits.
Yeah.
It looks good. I enjoy how big it is, honestly.
I already know our good friend Luke Lore, who sucks. He's be like, Kyle is high right now. He's out of his mind thinking this. It's fine. I'm kind of there with you at this point. And maybe it is Sherlock's, what is it? Stockholm, not Sherlock. Why Watson? It's the UK article we read. Yeah, I kind of have that right now because honestly, I love the design of the console. The size doesn't bother me as much because my entertainment system is large enough to accommodate it. And it's not getting in the way because I'm not hearing it. And I think that was a major thing with the PS4 and the 4 Pro is these things sounded like jet engines. So I'll take the size if it means that it's a silent console. And it is, at least for me. I don't hear a peep out of it. I could play without headphones for the first time in a long time.
I will say that my issue of putting in a disc and having it read the disc, that loud noise.
Oh, you have that?
It's pretty gone. It's pretty much gone. Okay. I don't notice it. So
that's right. You have the disc version. I have the digital version.
I do.
So yeah. I've seen some people go like, "Oh, it's weird how to insert the disc into the PS5." Have you had that?
No, I just know which way it should go. The label should go to the left if it's vertical. Just because if it was laying horizontally, that'd be the way to put it in. So it's not that bad.
My only thing I don't like from the design, though, is the stand. Stand's cheap. Stand's flimsy. If you lay it on horizontally, because I was doing it for the video, if you just nudge it in a certain direction, the thing just slides off. It's not a good grip. It's not like all we need is one mischievous cat in the room, and this thing topples over.
It's very clear that this was designed vertically in mind.
Yeah, and I think it is a really big console, so please take that in mind. But it is boosting a whole lot of power in it, and that's the thing I kind of give it the pass on is like if I don't hear it and it's dispersing heat really well, like Digital Foundry saying, I'll take your word for it. Mm-hmm. What about the UI of this console, Kyle? And I mean, let's start first with the home screen. How do you like that?
Oh man, it's a nice step up from PS4. It's honestly sort of similar of the squares of the games. Not being able to have folders is a little bit of a bummer, but not too much because of how limited our hard drive space is. Yeah. So like you're going to have to be switching things in and out, which we'll get to probably in a little bit. Right. But the speed is incredible. The quality of life things of. I was offline. I put my account to offline for a couple days. I think since Immortals, and I forgot to change it. Whatever. And the fact that I was able to back out, go to my profile, change that, and back within 10 seconds, straight back into gameplay. PS4 would never happen. Never
the thing that I'm impressed with UI wise is again because I was doing a review for the YouTube channel is like you'll realize it in the first couple of days you're like whoa and I've kind of forgot about it, but when I was actually doing the timer for this, getting into games is so incredibly fast. Like I got in Spider-Man Miles Morales in less than 10 seconds, and then I was swinging throughout the city in less than 5. Like overall, getting into the game and getting to the swinging portions where I'm just playing the game, like less than 15 seconds. And like Demon Souls, less than 5 seconds loading into areas. Like that is, it is insane how fast this console is. But I do think the major flaw with it is it only gives you, because of that reservation of memory from, to make the system so speedy, we only have 667 gigs to work with. And I have already, I think 3 times have to seriously sit down and reorganize things, reorganize games, delete portions of games because I'm already full on the hard drive. And I remember walking in, this wasn't the case. I was like, what are we really going to fill up this thing that fast? And yes, you are. You know, like file sizes aren't as small as what I think they were selling it to be. Have you tried though? So that is one serious knock. It is too small.
Yeah.
For console big, memory small, bad. Media. Have you used this thing as your media hub?
Every day.
Yeah.
If I'm not playing games, my PlayStation 5 is on and I'm watching YouTube or Netflix or something, because that's how I treat my PlayStation 4. Like that is how I watch. I entertain myself is through that. So media is great. It solves the issue from PS4 where it was hidden underneath another menu, and then it would load incredibly slow. And you weren't able to like reorganize them all that great. Like it was clunky. Yeah. This is super clean. I'm going to keep saying it loud and clear, but if you have a media remote, you turn the PlayStation on with that remote, it goes immediately to the media tab, which is like less than a second little move you can do with the DualSense controller, but it's a nice little touch.
Yeah.
And the fact that we finally have HBO Max.
I was about to say it, yeah.
Today, as of today, I can no longer have to worry about watching Wonder Woman here on my monitor. I can watch it on my nice, pretty 4K TV.
Yeah. Yes. God, that song slaps so hard. Patty Jenkins is going to make the best fucking pilot movie, and it's Rogue Squadron. My God. God is real, and he played quite a joke on us this year, but the payoff with Rogue Squadron.
Have you seen that video? I think it's a TikTok of this guy acting as God and the person in charge of like setting all the events. Yeah. And he goes, "All right, I just finished doing everything for 2020. What's next?" And God goes, "You mean the 2020s, right?" and then it goes back to the other character, and just looking at him dead in his eyes. And God goes, "You put everything in 1 year." Okay, let's get to work.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. But again, we got Rogue Squadron, and we have HBO Max, which I said it on our Twitter handle at PS Trophy Room. You should be following it. HBO Max over Netflix. I'm sorry, that's just facts. It's. I mean, you can't even argue it with 2021. They're releasing. I'm gonna watch Dune in my home.
Space Jam 2.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
I like how we went from Dune.
That's why I did it.
Yeah, so HBO Max, awesome, getting it there. I'm right there with you. Media tab is excellent. It really does remind me of the Apple TV app, which is just like, it's everything there, but it's all the greatest hits from what each thing has. So awesome. The shop. Here's my first issue. And Mark Knight writes in, just like you can too, and they ask this question. Great show. Question? Okay, I'll allow it. Have you noticed the lack of deals and sales on the PlayStation 5 stores? The deals are there if you search individual games and even appear on the phone app and PS4 store. Sometimes a sale link will be there one day and not the next. It is odd. The store setup is odd. It's just like, here's everything. Look, it's really fast for sure. Very speedy. You get into a game that you're looking at and it's instantaneously everything loads up. But yeah, you're right. It is, it's kind of like you're lost in the dark here. You know, there isn't a lot of tabs, and I think there needs to be more structure there. I would like to see, different tabs for different genre of games, sales, similar to what you had on the PlayStation 4, just make it fast, which we know you have, Yeah, I would agree with that. It is a little odd even when it comes to like redeeming codes of where to find that. Mm-hmm. So there are some little things there that it can improve on, but like just performance-wise, blows anything else the PlayStation's had in terms of store out of the water. Yeah. We've come a long way since the PS3 web app.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Customization, Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
Have you used this? Have you used the game presets of like, hey, I want every game to be played on normal. Just give me normal if there's an option.
I honestly forgot that was the thing I could do. All right. So I have not gone in there and done it.
And if you're an inverted player, you make me sick. Also, no, I'm kidding. There's a lot of accessibility options from what I'm aware on. But please link down below. We're going to give Steven Saylor another shout out here. His channel's all about accessibility. So if you're interested in that, please, again, link down below. But I don't know much on it. I just know it's impressive. So that's good. The create button, my favorite button. How do you like this button, Kyle?
I honestly have not used it a whole lot.
Kyle, what are you
I know. I don't know what I'm doing.
You're not using it right.
I know I'm not. But I love going back and seeing. Like I was going through storage trying to make room for Cyberpunk, and I saw I already had like gigs upon gigs of stuff in the media section. It's like, well, I haven't been taking pictures. And then you go and it's all the trophy videos of every trophy you've ever earned, and which is pretty cool. Although storage-wise, not the best idea in the world.
In theory.
But I love how fast it is.
It's incredibly fast. Like, I always love taking pictures. So for me, like, I'm constantly like, oh, this is a beautiful moment, snapshot. And I love how, like, on the PlayStation 4, there's like this weird 3-4 second lag getting to that quick menu. Here it's instantaneous. And I like how if you want to have a nice little video clip, you can have it so like 15-second clip, 30-second clip, all the way up to 60 seconds in 4K. I think that's really awesome. So I really love the create button. And again, it's one of my favorite things there. Control center. Here's where things get controversial.
Oh, I want to talk about the sharing to Twitter.
Oh, okay. Do you not like it?
That can be a little bit better.
Oh, really? Okay. I like it.
Typing the tweet, not having the option to scroll past or move the cursor back to fix a mistake. You have to erase everything and retype is an odd choice, seeing that was a thing you could do on PS4.
Yeah. Right there.
So a very annoying oversight when it comes to that. But again, that is something super nitty.
Also, with the create button, I almost skipped over. And someone on YouTube, shout out to you. But I getting to the like all your media, you have to go through the storage, the media app, or I didn't know this, press and hold the button. And it'll pop up. Now I don't know if it's true. he may be tricking everybody here, but apparently that's a thing. So I'm going to be trying that out later. Sweet. Control center, great idea. It needs way more work. It is not there yet. Mark Knight writes in, MVP in this portion of the show. It also takes one button press on apps to see friends who are online and what they are playing. It takes 5+ presses to get to the same on PS5, which includes shoulder buttons and options buttons. A little crazy, friends should be in the quick menu, like on the PlayStation 4 D-pad up menu, in my opinion. That's pretty much what Control Center is. It is the up menu on top of the PS4 main screen, but it's now just when you press the PlayStation button, if you're in a game, bam, the top screen, all your utilities is right there in front of you, alongside the activity cards for individual games. So that said, Control Center is great. I think the foundation's there, but I need it to be more customizable. Like I need to see what my friends are doing. That needs to be easier. I would like to have my.
Is there not a friends thing down there?
There's like a game hub, which is like you'll see your parties, which is another very weird thing they did, where the parties are now like centers, kind of like Discord type of rooms. I don't like that one bit because I have like party chats from like 8 months ago there for some reason. I don't like that. But yeah, I would like to see my trophies there as well.
Yeah, trophies is a big mess, not having a dedicated thing in there for sure.
And then I feel like the activity cards, they show me a lot of information, just not a lot of information I really give a shit about.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that one, because one of my favorite things or most exciting things would be the cards that show you the progress on trophies. Yeah. I haven't seen that at all in any game. Saying you are 15 out of 20 hostages saved, let's say, in a made-up game. Like, that is something that I have not seen. I haven't seen a ticker of you've done this many things.
Right.
This is how many more you have to do yet. And
I've seen it on the activity cards, but it's not all. It's not all the trophies. So, like in Demon Souls, I'm like 4 trophies away, humble brag, from the platinum. But it'll show me how much, like the percentage of how many rings I need to get, or that type of stuff. But it's not like in the trophy app from what I've seen, and that's a bit of a bummer for sure.
Yep.
Let's talk about the games, Kyle. But first and foremost, let's talk about backwards compatibility. How are you digging it? And I know there was a question as well of, actually, do I have it here? Oh, no. I'm supposed to have it here. What's going on?
No.
What is the backwards compatible game that you've been playing the most?
Oh.
As I go find this question. Now I feel awful.
Has there been a game that I've been playing the most that's backwards compat?
Fuzzy Belvedere. There you go. Writes in. Have you connected an external drive to your PlayStation 5? Yes. Have you disabled sleep mode on your PlayStation 5? Question mark. And what's your favorite back compat game to revisit on PS5? So back compat first.
No on sleep mode. Haven't done external hard drive. I think maybe I played Ghost the most.
Okay.
In backwards, like in Legends.
How's it running?
And it ran fine.
Yeah.
I think that's me. I think the only time I played Ghost is on this monitor.
Okay.
On my computer, so maybe I haven't noticed anything, but I'm sure from what I've heard, it runs so much smoother and so much better.
Yeah.
Even more than it already did. I'm excited. I've been itching to go back.
Yeah, some people say that's their game of the year.
Listen, I have a whole other can of worms to open up with you about that, but we're going to save it. But I've been itching to go back to like Borderlands 3, play the DLC. I want to go back and do my grounded playthrough of Last of Us Part 2. So there are things that I will hopefully get to. But for the time being, I'll go on everyone else that have really dove into it. And seems like it's a big upgrade, especially when it comes to a game like Days Gone. I've heard is a hugely improved.
Yeah. I remember playing God of War on it, 60 FPS, that 4K. It looked amazing. It played so good. I was like, okay, maybe Daddy wants to go back, God of War. And I really need to.
You haven't platted
it yet. So I might just start from scratch, feel all the feelings again, and then plat them that game, because it is my favorite game of all time. So that said, realistically it is. But also, I played Bloodborne, backwards compatible.
That's true. Actually, that might be the game I played the most.
And it doesn't chug. It's just, unfortunately, there's no option for 60 FPS. But like in old Yarnum where it would chug, it doesn't. So that's awesome. And I played Witcher 3. And it takes advantage of all the goodness of the console, unpatched. So it is running at a solid 60 and it feels great. It really does. And then I remembered, oh wait, these guys have made Cyberpunk and I stopped playing because it got sad. That's a real story. So yeah, backwards compatibility runs great on this console. It's something they need to be harder about because like this thing runs games great. I don't know.
Yeah.
What about the launch lineup, Kyle? Because it's few and far between, right? Like, I'm trying to find it, but it's pretty much what? Miles Morales, right?
Mm-hmm.
Astrobot. Demon Souls.
Bugsnax. AC Valhalla.
Well, I mean, like, first party.
Oh, first party.
Pathless.
Is that first
That's
party?
Right. Well, like, exclusively on PlayStation is what I'm saying.
Consoles. Okay.
And then you have Sackboy, Big Adventure. I know. Oh, Godfall is 7. So you have 7 launch titles there. Again, we were supposed to get Kena, but Kena got pushed back. Yeah. We're supposed to get the All Stars game.
And there were quite a few indies that were supposed to hit as well, but they got pushed.
So with 7 games here, pretty barren. Yeah. It's the worst, right?
On the contrary, it is the best launch lineup in PlayStation history.
Whoa.
I will say that right now.
Really?
I will put my money on that right now. On the backs of Miles, Astro, and Demon Souls. Those 3 are top tier PlayStation experiences, and the only ones that I would say are like not great at all would be Godfall. Because we played it, not a huge fan. The other ones are good supporting characters for this. Even Sackboy's on the upper part of that tier. So like it's pretty damn great lineup. Thinking back to like PS4, it was first party, Drive Club, Knack, Killzone.
Shadowfall was great,
and that was it. Shadowfall was pretty cool, but comparing those 7 we just listed to those 3 or 4, doesn't. And
look, technically, like only 2 of those games are true exclusives. Like Astrobot, you get baked into the console. You get Demon Souls and Godfall, and that is a whoopsie. That one is the most launch game it's gonna get.
Well, Miles is first party.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you could only play this on PS5.
PS5. Got
But
it. Yeah.
I'm right there with you. I think this is, honestly, I haven't had this much fun with launch title games. Like, I'm thinking back on my PlayStation 5 and how much I leaned on Black Flag because none of the other games was really doing it for me. Mm-hmm. I remember with the Xbox One launch playing Dead Rising and then Rise Son of Rome and going, whoa, this is dog shit. You know, like, and I honestly, here's my PlayStation fanboy rant of the night. I don't get the hype for Rise. It's a really pretty game. Other than that, it was bad. It was bad. And that Fusro Da shit that you had to do, like, for the like the catapults or whatever, that I found out later on they patched and you could turn the Kinect function off. Thank God. But it wasn't there, and that's what I played. It was bad. So that said, this launch lineup, either though I could play Miles on my PS4, my God, the ray tracing, the global illumination, it's a game, like the lighting alone makes it look fantastic. When I see like the city reflected on Miles's goggles, holy shit, it's so nice. It runs so smooth. Oh my God, like it's amazing.
And the fact less than a month out from that game's release, they updated it so it's a performance mode with ray tracing involved. My God,
we don't deserve Insomniac.
No,
Insomniac.
They are setting the bar.
We don't deserve you. The internet's an awful place, but you've made it so beautiful. Thank you for existing. For sure. We can't wait for Ratchet and Clank. Mwah, mwah. That's my love. Miles is just an incredible game, an incredible experience, and one that I could get in another, if I stick to PS4, and I'm glad it exists there, but I can't imagine it playing on my PS5. Demon's Souls, I've already put 67 hours into it.
Whew.
Beat it technically twice. Now I'm just kind of clearing everything. I'm going to have one more run. I'll have that game platted by the time we're back from break.
Nice.
It's amazing, and I love it. Of course, there's some flaws to it, but it's an absolute amazing launch game. Better than everything you just stated from the PS3 era, for sure.
Yeah.
Sackboy, what a charming, beautiful game. And I think I talked about it on Press YYZ. Well, great show, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
That soundtrack slaps so hard. It is surprising. It's so good. I love that game. And then Astrobot. How can we forget about Astrobot?
Single-handedly the happiest moment in gaming this year for me.
Yeah.
Is playing that game, feeling the DualSense for the first time, and just like being amazed.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah. And so, like, for me, I'm right there with you. Like, Astrobot was beautiful because, like, look, you're coming at it through the true PlayStation fan of, like, you're getting all these references, and I'm coming at it through I walked into the PlayStation family, right? The PlayStation ecosystem. So I'm walking into the mythos of PlayStation and being enamored by, oh my God, I've heard about this. I've seen screenshots of that. Oh, I understand that they're taking the history of PlayStation incredibly seriously, but at the same exact time, like it's just such a love letter. Man, I swear to God, we have the PlayStation show. If that does, or the PlayStation Awards that we're doing, if that doesn't win Best Platformer, as much as I love Sackboy, I'm gonna toss the show out the window.
Agreed.
If it's not a landslide, you heard it here first, folks. But yeah, like, I think the launch lineup of this has been few, but it's not like it's bad experiences. They're fantastic games. And the one thing here too, like, I want to give a shout out to is like games like Call of Duty, games like Fortnite, games like, what is it? Rainbow Six Siege, all have patches out making those games look better. I mean, Call of Duty is
Valhalla too.
Valhalla. Like, you all have the PlayStation 5 versions. If you bought the PS4, they carry forward, and the PlayStation 5 versions of these games and the patches for them, for like the Fortnite, your Rainbow Six, Destiny, make the games run better, and they look so much better as well, for free, which just blows my mind. Like, Fortnite it's a glow up, dude. Like, the game it's night and day difference. It looks so great on PlayStation 5 and sounds so great. And I think the next thing that we got to talk about when we're talking about all these glow ups and how games look, is how games sound and feel. Tempest sound is there. I don't know if you notice it, Kyle, but man, oh man, like sounds sound way more defined, and my situational awareness of like where our enemies are coming from is pinpoint accurate now because of that Tempest 3D audio. I love it.
For sure. Yeah, I haven't put too much time into gaming with the headset on, so I haven't taken the full advantage of it. But the time that I did, the time I did with Miles, right, and later in the game, being in a museum and you're walking around and you can distinctly hear different conversations and pinpoint exactly where they are behind you is scary accurate, and it's scary that technology is at this point.
Yeah, and
it's nuts.
Talk about scary things. That this is. I'm gonna just say it right here,
my boy.
Right? Mwah, mwah. One for me, one for Jan. Let's talk about the DualSense controller here. This controller is the best controller I've ever felt.
Oh my gosh!
Outside of the Elite controller, because you got to pay $180 for this, I'm talking the default controller that I turned on my PlayStation by accident.
I heard it. Yeah.
The DualSense controller is just absolutely comfortable. Where do you want to? What do you want to tackle on this controller first?
Oh,
you have the
God. Let's just start with how it feels, right? Like it nestles in our hands so perfectly.
What an adjective!
Like it is.
Yeah.
It's just like I love the DualShock 4. Mm-hmm. I think the DualShock 4 gets a lot of hate for no reason because I think it's like quality controller.
Adam Leonard is right there with you. He's like, the battery life is fine.
Compared to this, though, it is a child's toy. This just like, I love the way the handles go like deep into your palm. Yep. And there's enough there so like your fingers are not like hanging off like your pinky or whatnot. Mm-hmm. Like you're holding the full controller in your hand, and everything just feels great. The slight grip on the back is there just enough to make you feel like you have a sturdy enough handle on the DualSense. And like these buttons they're okay. I think the face buttons can be a little bit better.
Oh, really?
Just a little, just a tiny little bit, but
I'm sorry if you heard it on the mic. I'm pressing triggers, the buttons.
Man. Yeah. These triggers, Joe. Oh boy.
Yeah.
There's something.
And I gotta say, right there with you in terms of like the thing melds into my palm insanely comfortably. Like it fills my hand rather well. Get out, you perverts! Get out of the room. I know what I said. I'm not taking it back. You need to go. You need to go to church. You need to go. You know, wherever you pray to, you need to go there. You need to pray for forgiveness. Where you just thought of, you sick perverts. I was right there with you. I'm deranged as well. But then like how your ring finger and your pinky fall at the end of the grips as well. Like this feels so much more comfortable too. I'm gonna say it. The Xbox controller. Like the Xbox controller is fine. But I actually I don't like how my fingers fall towards the end of them. And I'm going to say something even crazier. I don't like how high off the triggers are. And maybe that's because I've been a PlayStation fan for so long and I don't use my Xbox much, but like I feel like my fingers really reaching up there. You know? Mm-hmm. Where this is kind of everything falls into place rather well. I don't notice the face buttons as much, but I will say like the directional pad does feel mushy, but I don't use the directional pad because I suck at fighting games and platformers.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But let's talk about the haptics. Let's talk about the triggers.
The one thing I will give the Xbox controller is the grippiness on the handles on this one is better than what the DualSense is.
Okay.
I like the grippies there.
Yeah, I do like the grippies. Scientific term, everyone. The grippies.
But yeah, these triggers, man, are next.
Also, I do like the D-pad on the Xbox. People say they don't like the tactile nature of how it sounds. I'm gonna play it. I love it. I'm gonna play it for the mic. That's how it's gonna sound. All right, it may be annoying to some, but now I got like this thing. I can't stop clicking them. But yeah, like, God. So there's some things Xbox does better. Sure, grippy's fine. The tactile nature of the D-pad, fine. But everything else here, I'm giving it to PlayStation. Because when we talk about haptic feedback, my God. What was the come to
My
Jesus
God.
moment with the DualSense for you in terms of haptic feedback? What?
It was that Astros thing.
Yeah.
Like when you boot up Astros, it gives you a tutorial on the DualSense, and it's just like, here, hold down the trigger, and then you do it just in every single type of you give it every ounce of pressure, differing amounts of pressure,
Yeah.
and just are amazed at the response to it. Like it'll feel spongy, or it feels like you're pushing through hard surfaces, and the way that goes in with the haptics of the controller vibrating while you're or the sounds like you're walking through the sand.
Yeah.
In Astros, like it's the complete package.
Yeah. For me, the moment for me with the haptics, I remember passing the controller to my brother when he started up Astros. He was like, "Whoa!" Because when all the PlayStation memorabilia is flying in the air, you're feeling it pass by the controller. Like, yeah, I said it in the video. I'll say it here again. Rumble, you don't miss it until it's gone. 6-axis controller. You don't really we haven't really seen that upgraded in like what the next level of Rumble is. And we got it with the haptics because there are times with this controller where like you're walking on surfaces and you just feel the little walking on the surface with the controller. You know, this is sensation more than just a rumble going on around the grips. Or like, you know, I think my coming to Jesus moment was walking on sand. I actually felt like I was walking on sand because of the controller. And then, when I was like in the sandstorm, I kind of felt sand pelting the controller. You know, I felt the wind and it matched with the speakers shooting that sound at me as well. I was like, oh shit, it's a nice sensation here, you know? Mm-hmm. And when it comes to the adaptive triggers, yeah, they are something else. I always use this because I think it's the best term, but like, you know, when you're playing Astros and you're in the frog mech and it's springed, it's a spring frog, and you're pressing that trigger down on it, it definitely feels like it's a spring, not a trigger. And coupled with that, the feeling that the haptic gives me that feeling. And I got a lot of shit for this. I got a lot of it, Kyle. The game that I like the adaptive triggers on the most is Call of Duty. Because when it's like shooting a Nerf gun. It's like when you pull the trigger down a quarter way, you get a little resistance, but you're still shooting, by the way. Like, you shot your shot. So when a lot of people are like, oh, I don't like that. You're shooting, it's just it's emulating what a controller's version of pulling a trigger of a Nerf gun would be, right? And then when you pull it all the way down, and I showed this on the video, and it impressed me even just when I was looking at it, the trigger will actually bump up, and actually the rumble will give it
some recoil.
Of recoil. And people are like, you saw how recoil works. I get it. I start emulating. So they're giving me the sensation of, okay, I've shot a gun before. I know what it is. Pew, pew, pew. I was in Grenada, all right? I don't like to brag. I've served. No, I have not. I've not been to Grenada, even on vacation. But, like, yeah, like, you know, holding down the trigger, having that sensation of what recoil would be. Yeah, it's fucking awesome. And I can't stress this enough. I was not a service member of anything. I took that joke way too far. I would not make it an hour into boot camp. I'd be like, where's my mom? I want to go home. So yeah, for me, I love the adaptive triggers, man. Is there a game for you that uses the adaptive triggers the best? That isn't Astros or a Call of Duty?
That isn't Astros, yeah. Oh my god. Brain, wake up. Swinging through the city as Miles is pretty damn cool. Yeah. Of just whipping it out. Oh god.
Talk about quotes we wish you could take back. Back to back.
Forget you heard what you just heard. Slinging the web out as Miles is swinging through feels really great. And to a lesser extent, I know this doesn't affect many people because many people don't play sports games. But playing defense in NBA 2K with this and getting up close to the ball carrier and holding down pressure D and feeling the resistance as the ball carrier bumps into you and you do get a little bit of that recoil, and you have to like pressure back down, is super impressive. I cannot wait, Joe, and I can't stress this enough, to experience Horizon and the bow.
Mm-hmm.
That, and I don't know if you saw this, but there was a tweet after the Game Awards about Returnal, where if you hold down L2 halfway, you will shoot, but if you go all the way, it will activate the alternate fire. Yeah. So, like, I'm really excited to see just how tactile that is in a game that it seems fast paced. Like,
and that. I want to see how functional that works and how many people are going to like automatically pull it all the way down. Because like for Call of Duty, I only do half the way down. For me, I gradually press down on that trigger because there's a resistance to it that just gives me enough to just zoom in. And I really like the resistance on it, by the way. So like when Returnal's like, I think it's halfway to zoom in all the way down for the alternative mode. And like that seems bonkers. I can't wait for that game. Can't wait how that game's going to use it. And Ratchet, because of all the weapons and how all the weapons shoot. Like I'm all in for that. The other little things for the controller, and also for me, I think games outside of it, Demon Souls, shooting spells feels amazing because the more powerful the spell, because like the spell will travel from below the controller all the way up and then dissipate as it hits the R1, R2. And the more powerful the spell, the more powerful that sensation is. This is awesome. Yeah. So like in the beginning, there's a flame toss. You're like, oh, this is cute. And then you get the actual fireball. And then, like there's a lightning bolt. And then you have like I think it's called like lightning spear or something like that. And it's even more powerful sensation. It feels freaking great. The battery. How are you liking it?
Yeah.
How long does it last?
Oh my God.
For you?
It's a long time.
Yeah.
So yesterday I played Fall Guys for 8 hours on stream. And it wasn't plugged in beforehand. And it lasted the whole time. I ended on 1 bar. This thing is a dream for playing for long sessions. Not having to worry about running and finding a cable to plug in so you can keep playing.
Nice.
Or putting it on the charger base and grabbing the other one. Like, you can extensively play for very long periods of time before you have to worry about battery. It's awesome.
Yeah. For me, I'm like, it's around 10-ish. And that's an improvement from the Dual Shock. It depends on how strong the feature is. Like, I have haptics and the adaptive triggers on medium. So, like, because strong is a little bit too strong for me, so I have it all set to medium. It's nice. And so I'm lasting around like 10 to 12. It's really nice. And when it comes to like the mic and speakers, the light bar, the removal of the light bar. God bless, because I'm not seeing the blue or whatever color they're trying to put on the TV. And I hated it. I always hated it. So seeing that it's just on the touchpad, and it's more kind of like, it's a mood setter. Like, it just tells me if I'm player 1, player 2. Awesome. I like it.
Also, shout out to the touchpad.
Why?
Because it's not raised. It's not raised above the face buttons like the DualShock is. Okay. It's flush with the
white portions.
With like the faceplate too, so it's more ergonomical, I guess. I do also like the PlayStation button a whole lot more on the DualSense.
Okay.
How it's raised, it's not just like a plastic circle.
Yeah, it's actually like the symbol.
It's the symbol. The mute button for the mic is
a mute button.
It's awkward. I turn it off and on randomly while I'm playing games. It's really funny to me. When I see people post trophy videos and I can hear them scream and curse while they're doing trophies, because that's awesome.
Yeah.
Also, something I'm noticing right now, I'm holding the DualSense between my pointer and thumb with my left hand, and I'm just tapping it, and I could feel the springiness of all the haptic and technology inside of it. I don't know if you can do that, Joe. Just tap the bottom and feel the weight of everything inside. Just like right here, at like the mic port, like you can feel all the.
Oh, I can.
It's all springy. Like that's how you know this is
DualSense
quality.
Yeah. For me, also like the mic isn't the best. Like I accidentally left it on. I think there needs to be like a option when you turn this thing on. Like, hey, you want to just like mute this thing forever?
Yeah.
Because
yes.
that has screwed me up multiple times. And also, I left the mic on by accident while I was gaming with Luke Lore because he started playing Fortnite because he's a child, and he sucks. And I actually I left the room.
He's gonna get his money's worth for spending $30 on messages,
right?
Or whatever it is.
Idiot! I wouldn't have done that. I did it anyway. So I left the mic on. I left the room, and he's just like, man, I don't know what's happening in your house, but I've heard everything. I'm like, oh. But yeah, so the mic is a bit temperamental, so you can mute it in the settings and in the quick menu itself. I just wish it was always off for me.
Yeah.
But it's cool that with the mic you can control the PlayStation 5 with it, and you can use it for dictation, though the dictation's not that great. Step in the right direction,
sure.
But is what it is. Kyle, at the end of the day, though, listen, we're getting to the 2-hour mark. It's been a great show.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of ups. We've had a lot of downs. We talked about the PlayStation 5 and the launch impressions, but I want to know your overall thoughts on the console. Let me have it.
Yeah. I think it is a step forward in the right direction almost across the board. There are kinks that still need to have some more ironing out.
Sure.
When it comes to the control center and finding trophies and the store and whatnot, and 100% storage. Sony, tell us what is compatible, please. But it is the next gen that I wanted from PlayStation, simply because of this DualSense in my hands right here. This is a game changer. So if I were to give it a score, I would give it an 8.5. It's almost there.
Look at you being fair and balanced.
Hey, look at me.
Wow.
Yeah, it's one. I'm super happy with it. I'm excited for the years to come and to play a shit ton of games on this thing.
Yeah. I am absolutely enamored with this console. I love it so much. And it's funny because we talk about power this, power that, faster this, which console is better. I've barely touched my Xbox Series. Barely. It's all my time is with my PlayStation. And you're right. I think it's not about really power. I don't think it's about how many got teraflips and the teraskips. Honestly, I think the killer feature is the DualSense controller. I do think it's a game changer. I know some people are like, it's overhyped, it's this, that, and the other thing. But honestly, when it comes to this controller itself, the only negative is that it gets dirty too fast. Which
for you.
Oh, you have it. Okay. You know what? Take a picture of your controller, the back of it.
Yeah.
Take a picture of it, send it to me. Because I think you're a liar.
I
think it's dirty and you don't want to admit it. Because it gets dirty in the back. I've had to clean it 4 times. Because I'm a real gamer. That's what real gamers do. We sweat. We get backhand sweat. That said, I love the controller. I dig the UI. Is it perfect? Nay. But is it, thinking about these consoles launching in the midst of a global pandemic, and they've just completely, for the most part, nailed it for both of them. I gotta give them the benefit of the doubt there. The experiences that I've played on it, I do think this is the best launch in terms of the games I've played are just truly fantastic. The DualSense is absolutely revolutionary. I love how games sound, and I think Sony nailed it that way. So for me, I'm giving it a 9. I really, really love this console. And yes, I think the biggest issue out of all of it, because a lot of these things we're talking about, they could get fixed, and they're not taking me solely out of the experience. I can't see my trophies, all that stuff. Those things could get fixed and ironed out with updates. And I bet if we were in that pandemic mode, I think they would have already with a whole bunch of.
I mean, hell, we just got HBO Max today.
Yeah.
They're still working on things that should have been there.
So giving them the benefit of the doubt there, I'm really digging this console. It's getting me through some of the rough patches here. So
absolutely,
it's taking me away from the Discord. I'm just stuck in my games. There's no loading times. You know what I mean? So that said, that's my thoughts overall. That's our thoughts. Would you recommend people go out there and buy this console right here, right now?
Oh my god, yes! If you can find your hands on one, go grab it.
Well, luckily enough, I have 18 in my basement. If you want it, $2,000 cash.
Oh,
or the console gets it. Don't buy it from scalpers. Do it legit.
No.
As much as I love this console, you could definitely wait on it. You could wait till the spring. You could wait till the summer. can wait till next holiday. But I would recommend if you have the ability of getting it at retail price, go for it. With that said, that has been the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast. Kyle, this has been the longest episode of the show. How do you feel about it? Time flew for me.
Feel good.
I feel real good.
A little tired.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good conversation. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Hey, Kyle, where can people find you?
You can find me over at Mr. K-Step on Twitter and on PSN. You can find all of the indie coverage that I do over at 61indie.com, youtube.com/61indie, twitch.tv/61indie, and on Twitter at 61indie. We are streaming on Thursday, Thursday night of this week, December 18th. We got into the Back for Blood alpha or beta, whatever it is.
Got an extra code?
Sir, maybe.
Hit your boy up.
So we'll be playing some Back for Blood on our Twitch. So come hang out.
And I got into the Outriders beta.
Ooh,
hopefully,
sweet.
I don't know if I could talk about it or not, but I want to talk about it.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So that said, that's been.
Yeah. Oh, real quick. If you want to join our Fantasy Critic League for next year, 2021. The link to sign up is in the Discord under the Fantasy Game League channel on the left side of our Discord. Please join. It's a ton of fun. And in the post show, we're going to reveal the results of Joe versus myself.
I got Cyberpunk. Honestly, I'm not even mad. I lost because that's a loss right there. Yeah, you can find this show, and of course, we're doing. Actually, before I even say that, we're doing the Trophy Room Awards. Link down below. Start voting. Not enough of y'all are voting. All right, voting makes a difference. Vote in Georgia, but also just vote wherever for this in particular.
Vote with your heart. Don't read the tweets of one Mr. Badbit saying, "Vote for Ghost of Tsushima." Don't vote with your heart. Don't listen to this man on his soapbox telling you what to vote for. Vote with your heart.
Vote.
That's where I have issue with you.
I have no issue. There's no issue.
I saw you.
You know what? Save it for the post show. All right, save this hate for the post show. I'm not going to tell people to vote for Ghost of Tsushima. I'm not telling people vote for Ghost of Tsushima. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't tell people to whatever you do, drop everything, and vote for Ghost of Tsushima. I wouldn't do that.
There's the third one. There it is.
Go over there, link down below. And with all that said, with all that out of the way, you can find this show over on YouTube, the video version. You can find this podcast over at Google Play, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. With all that said, with all that out of the way, everybody, keep your wits about you, keep hunting, and keep playing PlayStation.